Okay.
Yeah, it's just something really quick and cute. It's a kitty thing. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Third time's a charm. I just had to put the
Hey,
thing back in. Hey, this is FNGR. We're joined by Buttons, I believe Rouge, and
Yep.
who the fuck else is in the damn call?
Migs.
Nick.
Migs, and some new
Yes.
fine southern gentlemen that Buttons is about to give their life story to, even though they
You.
just met them. I was like,
I
Jesus
kept
Christ.
stopping
I'm
myself.
like, well, stop starting. And
I think it's probably the voice that brought it out of her. It sounds like just some old grandpa sitting in a rocking chair or something.
oh,
Shut
okay,
up.
fantastic.
That's probably what it is. Just hearing the accent and everything, and it's like, okay, I feel comfortable with this dude.
Maybe it
He
says,
sounds.
"Oh, hey, someone from Louisiana. I have questions I could ask." Oh, wait.
Okay, fantastic. Here, I'm just making sure I got
God,
this
that
up.
sounded so wrong when I said that.
Yeah, we
What?
actually had, for people who want to know who our new gentleman here is, he's somebody joining us who was asking about the Lou Kitty fucking Monkey Jones situation. But while we were talking about that, we started discussing the new Supreme Court case that just fucking finalized today, as far as I understand it, that upheld the sexual registration of sex offenders. Let me get this in the last damn room here. Bunk. Did I put one in this room?
Uh, you put the link to the article, but I don't think you linked the stream.
Here we go. Fantastic. So let's see. Let me just keep an eye on the chat if anybody would like to do that as well.
I'll keep an eye on
All
it.
right, cool. So I'm gonna read this off here. Let's see. As this goes off here by pause this by Lawrence Hurley. Washington Reuters, the U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday upheld the federal government authority under 2006, a law that required thousands of sex offenders to register with the authority in the states where they live, as the justices ruled against a child rapist convicted in Maryland. Now, just for everybody to understand, U.S. Supreme Court is law of the land. That's one of the three major bodies of the governing system. Executive, legislation, and this is judicial, in a 5-3 decision, which I saw. We'll get to who was voted against this, so we could all sit there and furrow our brows and bitch about that. The court rejected a convicted sex offender, Herman Gundy's argument that in passing that the law Congress handed too much power to the U.S. attorneys general in violation of a principle of constitutional law called the non-delegation doctrine. This doctrine forbids Congress from assigning its legislation power to the federal government's executive branch. The executive branch, that being presidential. Am I keeping up so far with everybody? Is that
So basically, it's saying that if these people have done a crime like this in the past, they can't go to office like that
well, no,
high
no, no,
up.
no. As I'm understanding the doctrine here, it forbids Congress, so they can't delegate their power to the president. Is I'm
Oh.
understanding that specific doctrine. Gundy's lawyers did not immediately comment on the Thursday ruling, of course not. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, it,
Oh.
it'll be on screen, who had not joined the court when the case was adjourned last October, did not participate in the decision. Gundy was convicted in 2005 in Maryland of raping an 11-year-old girl. After serving 7 years in prison, Gundy was arrested in New York in 2012 for failing to register as a sex offender there. Interesting. He challenged the indictment under the non-delegation question, but his claim was rejected by the district court judge. Then in 2017 by the New York-based Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
So basically, what they're saying is if you were registered as a sex offender in one state and moved to another, you have to register as a sex offender there, or else you serve time.
Yes. Well,
Oh, okay.
here's what
What I
I'm
was getting.
understanding. Since this passed in 2006 and Gundy was convicted in 2005, but I don't know when he got out of court, so that's not necessarily an ex post facto law. I'm assuming he probably was in the clink or whatever for about a year. Or even still, I would have imagined by the time he would have moved to wherever the hell else, that would have been a new situation, I guess. Lawyer would come in handy here.
He was
But
arrested in 2012 for failing to register. So if he was convicted in 2005, let's say maybe 2012.
yeah, if he was, if he had plenty of time to sit there and
Yeah.
yeah. But his claim was rejected by the District Court of a Judge back in 2017 by the New York-based Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. By the way, for anyone who wants to know, the U.S. Court of Appeals are only really interested in matters of law. So it's supposed to be like straightforward facts. The law
Okay.
known as the Sex Offender Registration, the Notification Act, SORNA, I never knew that, requires anyone convicted of a sexual offense to register as a sex offender in any jurisdiction in which they live. And we're trying to get Lou with that, by the way. But the law did not specify whether the requirement would apply to roughly 500,000 people. Like Gundy had already been convicted of a sexual offense when the law was passed.
I actually have a fun fact. I worked at Walmart, and I would have to like scan IDs for alcohol. And when I scanned one guy's ID, it had a red R on it, and I asked, "Oh, what's that mean?" It's like, it doesn't matter. And my manager, I asked them after, and then that they were a sex offender.
Oof.
So if someone has a red R on their ID, at least in the state of Louisiana, that means that they're a sex offender.
Yeah, if memory serves me right, if you get that scarlet letter brand basically on any ID you got, and when you show it there, basically you can get turned down for housing, and if you live anywhere near certain locations, like near a school or preschool, whatever.
Oh.
And if memory serves me right.
Yeah, no, I remember Leo said that there was a way that shows you all the people and criminals around you. And he's like, you'd be surprised how many sex offenders are all around your house if you look up this registry. And I was like, oof.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not sure if I remember telling you this one, but remember when I was on the bus home from Louisiana, and there was that guy that helped me get home? I looked on the registry list one day because there was someone in my area supposedly moving near me that they said, and apparently the guy I met was a sex offender, and I immediately blocked his number.
Were you absolutely positive that was him?
Oh yeah, no, I had his photo and everything.
Okay.
Now, the only thing about that sex offender thing is they do need to work on that a little bit, because some stuff you could be considered a sex offender for ain't worth a damn, and you shouldn't have to.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
apparently his crime was molestation of a juvenile.
Yeah, I've heard
well,
stories.
That's different.
Yeah, I've heard stories about people, peeing in a public place afterwards. I was like, do I feel that somebody should be put on a sexual offenders registry because they had to take a leak outside? No. Should they be fined?
No.
Probably.
Well, let me throw a little machete to that bush there real quick, lot. Now, if some feller's out down in the bush or something, got his dick out taking a leak or something, okay, that's all fine and dandy because he's down by the bushes. But if he's on the side of the road sitting there just letting it fly and everything,
That's true.
No, sorry.
Well,
That's
like
true.
I said, I'd probably fine if you want to lock him up. I'd still be a little apprehensive, depending on how stupid and how much out there. I guess case by case. I don't know, but you know what?
I can remember one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was
wait.
done. You're fine, sir.
All right. Because I remember one night I was sitting there walking home from work and everything, and some dude walking down the sidewalk, pecker in his hand, just sitting there just pissing away because he was taking fluid pills. And it didn't dawn on me what he was doing because it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired as all hell. And all of a sudden, then it finally dawned on me what he was doing. I'm like, what the hell, man?
Jesus Christ.
You can't duck in a bush.
Yeah, I get it too, and that's the whole thing. I'd be fine with him getting some time. I'm not sure if I'd want to see some drunk bastard be lumped in with pedophiles just because he was really stupid once.
Yeah.
But
Icarus asks, are you Texan? No, the guy is from Louisiana.
oh, very good, sir. Let's see.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me if I'm from Texas or Tennessee. I get that every day.
Let's get back to the article though. The state of Congress said that the Attorney General, the top U.S. law enforcement official, should decide, which Gundy's lawyers argued violates the non-delegation doctrine. We talked about that before. That's the Congress not passing off the powers to the commander-in-chief. Since the law was enacted, different U.S. attorneys, generally under the Republican and Democratic presidents, have interpreted the law, with all saying it does apply retroactively in some fashion. Now, law isn't supposed to work that way, but I'm not going to argue too damn hard for that in this case. Liberal Justice Ellen Kagan, I've heard that name, who wrote the decision, said the amount of discretion that Congress gave the Attorney General is legal because it is limited in keeping with Congress needs for administration officials to carry out its programs. Indeed, if SORNA, that's the Registration Act for Sex Offenders, delegation is unconstitutional, then most of the government is unconstitutional, Kagan quipped. Lol. That's some highbrow nerd arguments there, humor. Kagan was joined by the court's other 3 liberal justices in the ruling. So yeah, for anybody who says, and I'm a bit surprised to hear myself, that the Democratic Party was in protection of defending people from sex offenders. Conservative Justice Samuel Alito, who joined the judgment but suggested that the court should reconsider. More in general, long-standing support for delegation of authorities by Congress. I believe the term they're looking for is I concur. Is that it? It's
I
the
concur. It means like I agree.
I agree, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
In dissent, conservative judge Justice Neil Gorsuch. There we go. That's the new guy. For anybody who's kept up with that, I know Gorsuch was appointed by Trump. Warned that such delegations imperil
individual freedom.
I thought he meant to say impede, but no, that makes sense now. If such a single executive branch official can write laws restricting the liberty of this group of persons, he wrote, what does that mean for the next?
So wait a minute. He's says that the group of people being sex offenders should have some form of freedom.
From what I'm understanding, he's arguing it from the perspective of law, not necessarily. He's not taking into account that there's sexual offenders. Yep. New guy, what's your name? What do you want to go by?
You can just go with Bubba. That's fine.
Okay, Bub.
Yeah.
What, Bubba? Is that it?
Oh, yeah, Bubba. That's fine.
All right, that's fine, Bubba. You wanted
either that or... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say either Bubba or John. It don't matter.
Yeah,
just can't call me late for supper.
No, lol. But anyways, I look at it like this. He's a Supreme Court judge. If anyone's going to get stuck up on the fucking nitpicks of fucking law, it'd be his job to do so, would it not?
Yeah, now, I can kind of see where he's coming from a little bit on this, where if you pass one thing, it could open a door for something else. I can kind of see where he's coming from. Just for example, like with gun laws, but that's a whole different can of worms there. But because if you outlaw one thing, they can expand to outlawing something else and else and else. And where does it stop? But this is one of those kind of situations where you have to look at it really closely, because on the one hand, it could be bad, but on the other hand, it could be good, because too much power could easily corrupt somebody.
Yeah, I get you. That's what the whole I think that's why they limited not handing off too much power to the executive branch. Let's get back to this, though. Even before the law was passed, all 50 states had laws requiring registration. So it's just a redundancy. So if it was all at the state level, I'd almost even argue that the federal one isn't necessary, but I'm still glad it's there. The federal law was designed to create a uniform system to be used nationwide that would prevent sex offenders from falling off the radar. As recently as May... Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying there. So, yeah, that's to prevent someone from getting convicted in one state, and then, okay, I'll just move to a different one. I like that.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, because back when Hurricane Katrina and Rita hit here in Louisiana, a whole hell of a lot of sex offenders just got under the radar, didn't know where they went, because when they evacuated from South Louisiana, they went God knows where, and a whole bunch of them couldn't be found.
I remember someone telling me about that when I lived with them in Louisiana. They told me that a lot of girls and guys would some guys would even rape the girls in the shelters that were made for people in Katrina who were having issues with finding housing or shelter.
Chris, that's horrifying.
There was a lot of horrible things. There was a court case of 2 girls who falsely accused a guy, and then during the court case admitted to lying and got prison for life or something.
Well, getting back to this, as recently as May 2018, only 17 states have fully implemented the federal requirements according to court papers. So you came in to original chat, or here, Bubba. I keep wanting to call you Gator for some dumb reason.
There's
a fucking podcast called The Ralph Retort, and his co-host is called Gator. So I assume I haven't heard him yet. So you were talking about Lou, and your big concern was what about the parents? That they allegedly, according to Lou's mom, eventually signed off on that with some level of she seemed reluctant, but she still did. As for the kid's mom, as for Dylan's mom, we haven't heard from them, and we're not likely to, and if I doubt we'll hear from Dylan again. But you were saying what about that?
Because I was sitting there talking to a coworker the other night, and we got to talking about it, and he brought up an incident that happened with somebody he knew, that if the parents was aware, Buttons, can I use you as an example, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Okay, let's just say now, Buttons, let's say you were the age of 16, right? Let's just say you was. And let's just say I'm 22, which I ain't, but that's not here nor there.
Okay.
And let's just say I hooked up with you, and we ended up banging and everything. Your parents knew about it, and they was cool with it. My parents knew about it, and they was cool with it. From what I heard, if the parents were both cool with it, then cops couldn't touch them unless the parents said, nope, this has got to stop. You're going to jail. Because I know of quite a few people I've heard about, they've been railroaded like that because the parents knew the older boy was sleeping with their underage girl, and then they waited until he turned 18. That's when they pressed charges on him. Like, she would be like 13 or 14 or 15. He'd be like 15, 16 or 17. And as soon as he turned 18, boy, he got railroaded.
Is that like possible to railroads? Because like they were both technically like underage. They were both underage, so I don't see why he would get in trouble if they like.
Well, what's the statute of what's the age of consent in Louisiana? Since I don't have that memorized.
17.
17. So
yeah,
isn't there
now,
like how much leeway do they have on the ages there? Because I know a lot of those have like what you call Romeo Juliet laws, but there's like a 2 to 3.
Yeah,
they have some weird laws in Louisiana, even with drinking. So it's hard to say. Like I know that when I lived in Louisiana, they had a law that you could be any age. I assume any age. I could be wrong. You feel free to correct me since you grew up in Louisiana. But there was basically a law where if you were any age, you were living on your own private property with an adult of age, you were allowed to drink.
If memories now, bear in mind, laws change every time the wind blows. But from growing up, majority I knew, if I'm sitting on the porch with my uncle or something, he hands me a beer, I can sit here and chug it with him, no problem. As long as I ain't getting sloppy, falling down, shit faced drunk, then it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
but
basically.
if I leave the property though, then they could hit him with contributing to delinquency of a minor and whatnot. If memory serves me right.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah, but now I can't go to a store and go buy a beer or nothing like that. But if I'm sitting down on the porch or something, or going fishing in the pond with my uncle, he hands me one. Hell, I can drink it all I want as long as I ain't getting too shitty. Or
yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I don't know how official that is legally. I just think most cops.
No, it's official. I remember because we had like federal law we had to follow when I worked in Walmart and I worked in the liquor store section. If you had your own child with you, you were allowed to buy liquor from the counter.
So I'll mention this to Step since he's wondering why we're still talking about Lou. The Louisianian gentleman was sitting there asking some questions about it, and while we were talking about Lou, I noticed I wanted to rail off the Supreme Court case because it seems relevant to fucking that original dumb argument we had with Farleto. Oh, we don't need to persecute these people. They've served their time. And just, maybe I'm being a little bitter and shitty. And I was like, well, lol, the courts disagree. The liberals disagree. But yeah, then we pop back to Lou the Kitty because that's what this guy wanted to talk about. And it seemed kind of interesting and topical. And he was talking about the parents.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because that does kind of make a little sense of continued punishment after somebody does serve their time. But there should definitely be some guidelines to still follow. Like, for God's sakes, I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, I ain't a sex offender, but I got arrested back in 2005 for domestic abuse battery because my ex-wife beat the hell out of me, and I put her against the wall to get her off of me. Here I am with a black eye, and I'm bleeding from where she bit me, but I'm the one that went to jail. Now, I did 6 months probation. Got off of it, but to this day, I'm still considered punishment. I'm still considered a wife beater for trying to get a bitch off of me, for kicking my ass.
Yeah, I've heard stories from people in Louisiana where the woman would get off easy with the things that happened, and even if, like, I remember that there was this one woman I lived with who apparently said that her son got beat, but they said that if she was apparently the police advised her to say she was the one that did it, so she would get off scot-free, because if the father did it, oh, okay, so that is accurate. Yeah, she told me that.
Oh yeah, nowadays they've supposedly fixed it to where now if in a domestic situation the cops get called, everybody's going to jail that was involved in it, but that didn't do me no doggone good. When I'm sitting here, got a bite in my arm, you can count the cavities in her front teeth by looking at my left arm, no problem. And I'm the one being hauled off.
Yeah. No, I've heard stories of that.
God, picking good.
We got to keep this guy.
Yeah. He's one of the
It's like
few Louisianans I like.
All right.
It's like, hell, I'm sitting there with a freaking black eye shiner and a bite and everything else, but I'm the one being handcuffed. I'm like, well, what?
Well, you said that you worked in corrections, correct? How many years?
Yep. Altogether about 3 years, because I worked at 2 different prisons.
Oh, nice. I actually watch a couple, or at least a YouTube channel about freaking lockup or some shit like that. How long? Like, when did you start? What made you get out? Like, what do you want to share if you feel like sharing anything?
Well, I started working there in 2000, like when I first got out of high school. Like literally 1 month after graduating high school, I went to work and I was in training at the academy at Angola. And the reason I wanted to go in there because I was actually going to use it as a stepping stone to get into the FBI. But that plan got shot down a shitter. Then I quit because I was living 2 hours away from work, and when you got to drive 2 hours to go to work, that's going to take a toll on you, especially when you're being called in to work constantly, and next thing you know, you're falling asleep at the wheel and you almost hit a kid on a bicycle. So I said, nope, I got to let this go.
Okay, wow. I don't even know how to take all that.
It's like because I straight up told him when I was quitting Angola the first time I worked there, I said, look, if I shoot some inmate because he's trying to escape, hey, no big deal. I'm going home and eating supper. No big deal. But if I hit some kid on his bicycle, I can't live with that because that's just a kid out playing. That would tear me up.
I got people calling in the chat to keep you around. All right, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, you're like one of the few Louisiana people I actually like talking to. Like usually, whenever I think of Louisiana, I think
I've got somebody saying, Camarilla Fox, this man has lived a full life. Yes, by all means, keep going.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Oh, believe me, I could tell you so many damn stories. Half of them you'd be bringing in tears, and the other ones you'd be crying and laughing. But so then I left Angola and went to work at LaSalle Correctional Center, a little satellite camp, and I was next in line for assistant supervisor. But well, let's just say I had to quit because me and my lieutenant got into it. Then went back to work at Angola and worked there for about almost 2 years, and I had to quit there because my truck was breaking down. And when you live an hour and 45 minutes from where you work, and you ain't got no truck, you ain't got no way to work. Guarantee start walking, I'd be there next week.
So I know like hunting is pretty prevalent in Louisiana. Do you do hunting?
I had to hang it up because number one, it got way too expensive. Because let's face it, you go buy a duck stamp, then you got to buy a federal duck stamp, then you got to go buy a steel shot, and you got to go buy a permit to go on government land. Only to kill 2 wood ducks, come home, pluck them, gut them, throw them in the freezer, go back out, do it all over again. It just got too damn expensive.
Oh yeah, no, I know a guy when I lived there who liked to hunt deer. He had like a mini. He was pretty cool. He helped me escape an environment that I was a part of, and basically like he had this one mini garage house thing for his dog to live in, and it was like an office with his computer, a room, a bathroom, a living room built to himself. It was like a shed kind of, but not really.
Man shit.
And yeah, basically it was a man cave, and he had like I think 3 deer mounts and a couple ducks. Like he had it all.
About to say only 3 deer? Shit, it must have been only the good ones. There's a feller I grew up with there. That sucker's got more deer horns around his house than you can count.
Oh yeah, no, they weren't just horns; they were the full head too. Like he was really cool. Yeah. He was really good at hunting.
Oh, yeah. I had to hang up hunting because, like I said, it got too expensive. That and after I got arrested and I can't be in possession of a firearm for the rest of my life, I had to hang that up.
How'd you get arrested?
Oh, that was for the domestic violence.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're convicted under federal law, if you're convicted of a domestic dispute, you cannot be in possession of a firearm for life. The only way around that is, if memory serves me right, here in Louisiana, after 5 years, if I can't buy a gun, but if I'm in possession of one, unless I'm committing a crime, a cop can't touch me. He's got to get a federal agent to come in to make the arrest on me.
I remember when I lived in Louisiana. I didn't have a gun because I couldn't afford it, and I was too afraid to own one. But I remember that you had a kind of protect your castle thing where you were allowed to have a gun.
Yeah.
And they had a law where you could only shoot someone if you were able to kill them in one shot, if you were protecting yourself, if memory serves correctly.
That's half true. What it is, you can't shoot somebody in the back, is what they're saying, basically, if somebody's running from you. But that opens a gray area. If the dude's running from you, shooting over his shoulder at you, then you can shoot him in the back, no problem. and hey, he was shooting at me, I shot at him, that's why he's dead. But if they're running towards a situation that takes somebody hostage, then yeah, you can drop them in a heartbeat. It don't matter if they're back to you or not. But if they're just sitting there hauling balls, running from you, no gun on them, they're just running like a bat out of hell.
I do know you're allowed to. I do know you're allowed to use bear spray. I remember using that one night.
Yeah, you can use. I got a mop handle with a Bowie knife duct tape to it. Somebody breaks in, I can stab them with that and beat them with it all day long, and it's perfectly legal because they broke into my place.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, if someone breaks in your place, you have the absolute right in Louisiana to like protect your castle. I think they call it protect your castle. I could be wrong.
Castle Doctrine, if memory serves me
Castle
right.
Doctrine. That's it. Oh man, I'm sorry. It's just, I remember.
I gotta ask though, how did you find my channel? Are you a Monkey Jones fan or a Mr. Meatman? I'm just curious.
Well, no, cause I've watched you quite a bit covering like the Toon Critic situation and everything over the last couple of years on YouTube, and then here the other day I listened talking about the whole Lou bullshit. And I sent a message to that LioConvoy feller. I had to hunt him down and say, hey, is there a way I can contact this feller?
Who, Leo?
And then he plugged me into you on Skype, and I said, oh, cool, thanks, man.
I'm not shocked that you're friends with Leo.
Oh, no, I just shot him a message out of the blue, kind of like I did you a little while ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
just
glad
one of them just shoot the darks.
I'm so glad I have like another person from Louisiana to talk to, because like I don't know, I I live down there. I did not have a good experience, and I'm like, you're one of the few people I can actually talk to and feel enjoy talking to about Louisiana.
We didn't keep you hanging for long. I don't know how, like, did you just reach out to me today or what?
Yeah, I just literally as soon as I messaged you here a little while ago, that's the first time I actually reached out to you.
I've gotten stuck in freaking messenger tag with a couple of people, so I was just wondering. I sure hope you haven't been
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. I try and touch base with at least a couple of my fans every now and then.
Oh, no doubt. But going back to what I was saying a minute ago about this thing and this article here about the Supreme Court and whatnot, I can kind of understand definitely keeping it to where, let's say I was a sex offender, all right, and I moved from Louisiana to, say, Utah, all right? Why I picked Utah is beyond me, but whatever. Anyways, I would definitely need to register up yonder because let's face it, Louisiana law may not follow me over there if I start diddling a kid up there. Or let's say I rape a woman or something or other. They'll be like, oh, we didn't know he was a sex offender in Louisiana. We should have known. We wouldn't have put him somewhere near. That's like if you got a dang fox running around, you don't put that sucker in the hen house. You want to get rid of that son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, no, we've had. I remember seeing some foxes running around up there. They also got some armadillo too. I remember waking up one morning really early because it was like I couldn't sleep one morning. I think it was 4 a.m, and I heard like banging noises, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I went out there, and there was a little armadillo nearby the trash. It was really funny.
Oh, don't get me started on armadillos. I've had one of them scare me absolutely shit-faced, or actually get me so scared shitless. Because I was out hunting one morning, and I'm sitting there hunkered down in my little hole that I dug waiting on deer to pass by. I heard something scratching right behind me, and I didn't know what it was. I turned around, there's an armadillo looking at me like, hey, what's up?
Oh, I know, right?
They're shit my pants.
Well, they're not really, like, violent that I've seen. They were mostly docile when I went up there. Now, raccoons. Coons are another story.
Oh, well, I ain't saying the armadillo was dangerous or nothing. It's just the whole surprise the ever-loving hell out of me. But no, raccoons, don't get me started on them little evil bastards.
Oh, God, I had one living underneath my trailer making noise every single night, waking me up all the time.
Yeah, now, them, don't ever try to catch one of them with your bare hands. Trust me, it don't go well.
Oh, no, trust me, I didn't. I had my neighbor do that.
Yeah, buddy of mine was trying to catch a baby, and it clawed him up some kind of fear. So I had to end up playing doctor to him most of that night, and I'm sitting there with a cigarette hanging out my mouth, bandaging him up.
Oh,
funny as hell.
Oh yeah, no, those are pretty freaking wild. Coons, possums, armadillo. There was a lot of lizards when I was there too. What else was there? Roaches. Roaches were the thing I hated more than anything being down there.
Let's not talk about roaches then, Jesus.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah, but, I don't want to hear about. I always thought it was funny where Bubba's like, or freaking Bunt is like, "You're gonna help me with the roaches, right?" I'm already out the door. I'm like, "Good luck with that."
Oh, do you remember when I? Do you remember?
I'd turn to my friends. I'm like, "Is she done talking about roaches yet?"
Do you remember when I lived in my apartment and I started getting wasps, and you were like, "She's like, let me put my feet on the carpet where there's no wasps crawling around."
Yeah.
You were such a dick to me.
I was gonna say, if you got a wasp problem, use some Dawn dishwashing soap and water. That'll get rid of them quickly.
I would just like I would just go to Walmart and get the wasp spray and not live without it. I remember like what happened is I moved to my trailer and there was a hole in the corners of my bedroom and on my roof, and for some reason a wasp a day would get into my house, so I had to like use plastic bags and paper towels and just fix those holes up so they wouldn't get in anymore. But it was really scary. Like they would just get in out of nowhere.
Oh, I get them all the time. Getting in my trailer every damn day, and hell, they drive my cat insane.
Oh man, how do you like Raid is good. That's what I used when I was up there. It's a bit like messy, you have to clean it up and you can't stay in the room too long or else that shit gets in your lung. It makes you cough like a freaking dying animal or some shit.
I have a question since you're out from Louisiana. What's like I'm trying to think what do you call the yeah, what's the best like Louisiana cuisine?
Dude, gator. Or gumbo.
Well, I was about to say, it kind of also depends on what your personal taste in. I mean, if you prefer gumbo, you know, like a soup or something, then go with that. But if you're more into the fried foods, then I would definitely suggest going with like fried alligator tail or possibly, you know, fried frog legs.
Ooh, okra. Okra's good too.
Oh.
Oof. 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 I'm sorry, I'm giddy.
My word.
It's okay. I personally have never liked fried okra. Now, put it in gumbo, I'll eat that shit all day long. But fry it, nope, I won't even go near it. I'll walk out the room. Nope.
Crawfish is good too.
Yeah, only problem with crawfish is it's a whole hell of a lot of work to peel that sucker.
Yeah, I've had I couldn't eat crawfish too often because unfortunately, like I'm very sensitive to spice. So it was one problem living in Louisiana for me. But I will say, like, they had some good cuisine. Like, I worked at a Church's Chicken one time before I moved back to where I live currently, and that was okay. They're when they had like the fried Oreos this summer and the strawberry pies.
Oh, dude, fried Oreos kick ass. Them and fried pickles, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Good. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'll choke a bitch for them things.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I ain't even gonna try to tell that lie.
Ooh, and the fried dough. Oof, the fair fried dough they have. Oh my God. Louisiana, they know how to cook. I will not say that they
Good evening, Leo. We just got some fine gentleman from Louisiana. He's a very southern fried. I believe he said he got to us through you, I believe. Oh, you guys can keep talking. I was just saying hi to him in the comments.
Okay.
No, I was letting him respond there.
Yeah, Leo ran into a bit of a thing. I heard his account's just suspended for 12 hours, according to Step. I hope he gets it back soon.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks more than a gay vampire to blood orgy.
I've known someone else from Louisiana who said that. Oh my God.
Dang it! Somebody stole my line.
Nah, man, it's okay. I prefer you saying it over that fucker.
Okay.
Touche. But yeah, but going back to this about with that article there and everything, but because I was sitting there just now reading it real over once again, I could definitely, like I say, because using myself as an example again, my with the whole I can't be in possession of a firearm. I go to, say, California and try to buy a firearm, even though their laws are absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yeah, Louisiana would follow me from here to there. So why in the hell wouldn't it follow me from here to there if I was a sex offender? That's why I'm glad they actually.
What was your firearm that you used to have? Now that you mention it, just because.
God, which one?
Oh, beautiful. Did you surrender them over or sell them off or what?
I had to sell majority of them. I got a buddy of mine keeping my babies so that I won't lose them. As soon as I'm legal to own again, he's going to give them back to me. And one was a Model 454 Raging Bull with a 10-inch barrel, and the other one was a Bushmaster AR-15.
Ooh, yeah. Corpulent Brony has an AR-15. I was just wondering, how often do you have to clean the guns?
Usually, me personally, when I clean them, I like to clean them every day, you know, during downtime because, you know, just to make sure they don't start developing rust or nothing. But it also kind of depends on use. If you use it every day, it's good to clean it every day. But, you know, it kind of varies. Also, the climate you're in plays a huge role in it. Like here in Louisiana, since it's so damn humid, you want to try to clean them as much as you can. Otherwise, they'll start developing rust.
Ugh, Louisiana summers fucking suck, dude. I remember living there.
Oh, tell me about it. I got my air conditioner on 64 degrees, but I'm sitting here in a trailer and I'm over here sweating like a hooker in a Baptist church.
Even Even when I lived in like Louisiana, when it came to freaking like October, I was still sweating my ass off. Like I loved like not having to deal with the snow. Can I just say, I grew up like where there's a lot of snow. So when I moved to Louisiana and you guys closed down schools for 3 inches, I'm sitting here like, okay. I remember some people came up to me because we were in Walmart and we didn't have much winter gear for that year. It just started snowing out of nowhere. So when they came up to me, they had like a bunch of rubber gloves and rain boots. And I said, you are not going to have a fun time if you do that in the snow.
Oh, here, just go about two winter. Let's see, not this last winter, but this one beforehand when it was snowing. It's like some kind of crazy here. Hell, I was walking home and that shit here. It was about 20 degrees or lower, wind blowing like a crazy man, snow and ice coming down. Here I am looking like Frosty the Snow Bubba.
Yeah, everyone.
I got 2 jackets on, 2 pairs of pants, 2 shirts, and I'm wearing a trash bag as well. And I'm sitting there walking home, and all the while sitting there freezing my ass off. All the while, every step thinking, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit.
I remember when I moved there, everyone was like, you probably brought the snow with you buttons.
How is the heat and the cold? And since you said you were a key turner over there in the prison, how fucking warm or freezing or whatever it is over there during the seasons? I'm just curious. I've heard different things.
Yeah. Well, okay, when I worked at Angola, there was no air conditioning anywhere except for in death row area and administrative offices buildings and the entrance buildings. That's the only place you'd find air conditioning. Now, you imagine it's in the summertime heat in Louisiana where it gets to about 95 or more with a heat index of 150. That's
humidity of like 85%.
Yeah, and you're wearing straight polyester uniform. Need I go more? It's absolute hell.
Do the inmates ever pass out from heat exhaustion or shit like that, or what?
Oh, hell, everybody passed out from heat exhaustion every day. I mean, it was a common occurrence during the summer. Officers and inmates both, because they would take the inmates out every day out in the field to go work the farm and everything. That's why they call Angola the farm. They'd be out there gooseneck hoes and shovels and picks and everything else from all day long. They're basically, I want to say 7 o'clock in the morning to noon for lunch, then from 1 to 5, I think. 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, something like that.
So were you like allowed to have water or anything with you to stay hydrated, or like a little fan?
Oh shit! As long as it wasn't a weapon or it wasn't dope or something like that, supervisors really didn't care.
Oh, okay, that's cool. As long as they're like making sure you're, because I remember when I worked at like Walmart or Church's Chicken, you weren't allowed to have like anything to drink or anything on a really hot day. And I would come home, like I remember I had to go to the hospital one time from heat exhaustion because like I was getting bad pain in my chest, muscle sores, got a fever. It was freaking awful.
Now, I can't say for the field crew, the officers that was on horseback with rifles watching the inmates work, I can't say if they were allowed to have a camelback or not. I can't say, but I knew they'd be having water bottles and canteens on their belts.
Oh, hell yeah.
That and they also had a truck not too far from them that had water coolers and everything. They would just tell an inmate, hey, go over there and give me a glass of water.
Well, I got to ask, though, since you said you worked in that, and, have you ever had to shoot a inmate?
Shoot an inmate? I was not ever in a possession of a firearm in Angola because only certain officers actually had firearms. Tower guards, roving security were the only ones who were armed. Everybody else, all we had was a panic beeper and a pocket knife that was less than $1 bill in length. So I'd be locked in a dormitory with 68 inmates, and I'm locked in there, and the only thing I had to protect myself was that little pocket knife and a panic beeper, which was basically like a big walkie-talkie.
I actually have a question. How many sex offenders or pedophiles were actually convicted? When you were there? Like, what was the percent of people who were actually, like, convicted for that?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you because a kind of an unspoken rule among corrections officers was never find out what the inmate's doing time for, because like I said, this isn't a vocal rule, a written rule, but it was kind of an unspoken one. Because if you find out why this inmate's doing time, you might do something against the rules to fuck him over, and you fuck yourself back. Because kind of like, let's say if I find out this dude's been diddling kids or something, I might go plant a shank on him or something, or I might go tell a couple inmates like, hey, I'm just gonna use an inmate nickname that I once heard. Hey, you know Lala over there? Yeah, He was diddling kids before he got in there. Y'all have fun. I'm gonna go take a dump.
Oh yeah, no, I remember someone I know went to prison. When they got out, they would tell me stories, and basically there was like a hierarchy in prison of
Yep.
like the food chain, like the pedophiles and rapists and abusers were at the bottom. Then there
Yeah.
was, I think there was battery and larceny, and then there was like drunk driving, just
I can't remember the entire hierarchy really well because it's been some years since I set foot in a prison. But I know the number one thing was cop killing. If you was a cop killer, you was treated like royalty for pretty much. You had all the respect. But if you was a rapist, 9 times out of 10, you wasn't going to be doing very well. But there are some inmates that actually got respect, rapists, and nobody fucked with them. Because there was one inmate I remember. He was doing time for three rapes. Nobody fucked with him because he gained respect. That was the main thing in prison is if you're respected, nobody wants to screw with you. But if you ain't respected, all bets is off. You either going to be shanked, stuck, or both.
So let's say someone with a red top hat, kind of edgy, narcissistic. Let's say someone.
Hold it. How familiar are you with the Bernie fandom before we even decide to go down this?
Well, okay, I'll be honest with you. The only reason I even got into the whole brony fandom, I ain't even a brony myself. I've tried to watch the show. I just couldn't get into it. But I like some of the content some of the guys put out, like Josh Scorcher and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like watching his D&D streams. I love those things.
Nice.
But as far as like actually being in the fandom, I ain't even in it. I just watch a few of the people just that I like, just because I like their content.
Yeah.
But I do. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say now with Toon Critic there, now I will admit I did like him at first because of some of his content when he would collab with others.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as I found out what he was doing, all I want to do is put my hands on him and have a little nice country chat with him.
I like that. That brings a new term to Southern hospitality, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all I want to do is just put my arm around his shoulder and teach him back to the woodshed and just have a nice, quiet little discussion for a few minutes,
So would he ever survive in prison, do you think?
Probably not.
From what I've seen of this dude, from what I've seen of him in his interviews and from what I've seen of him on his content and everything, more than likely, he'd be changing his name. I believe it was Zach, I think his real name is.
Yeah.
He'd be getting called Zaquina.
Oh, Jesus.
Zaquina.
Yeah. Okay.
Zaquina. They'd be changing his name to Zaquina, and he'd be married up to somebody named Rhino. And no, that ain't. And that sad part is that ain't even a made up name. That was an inmate I actually knew down there at Angola. They called him Rhino.
What?
Y'all can imagine why.
What was your biggest shock when you started working at that place that you're like, you had to maybe it was a new experience for you when you got over there?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Now, bear in mind, when I graduated there, my hometown was about 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how little of a town I was in. All right, literally 300 people. And then here I am, fresh out of high school. I'd never even been around black people before in my life, except for maybe and everything.
Uh-huh.
And here I am, surrounded by about 800 to 900 of people of every race and color and creed and everything in God's creation, and I'm sitting there like, where the hell am I? Like, I'll be honest with you. Here I am in the middle of freaking Angola, surrounded by rapists, murderers of all different kinds of things, and I'm sitting there like, I ain't too sure, but I think I might have fucked up coming here.
Was the pay good?
Oh, dude, the pay was nice. I mean, when I started there, I was getting $9 a little over $9 an hour starting off. Bear in mind, this was back in 2000.
Okay, yeah.
And when you're fresh out of high school, hey, it looks pretty damn nice. But overtime, I could get that like out the ass. It was always needing officers. Like, I had an uncle that retired from there here about 10 years ago, and he'd been working there since he got back from Vietnam. He was there at the fall of Saigon. Shows how long ago he's been there. He straight up told me, Bubba, I've been in this damn prison for almost 30 years now. I I ain't never seen a full shift. There's always somebody getting fired, quitting, calling in every damn day. I ain't never seen a full shift, and I've been here almost 30 years.
Damn.
Yeah, that's literally what he told me there when I first started there, because I met up with him one day, and we were shooting the bull, and I was like, wow. Then after about a week of working there, I said, yeah, I could definitely get me some overtime in this place. Hell, you could work it. All you had to do was just say, hey, can I come in and work? Come on.
I got a question. I've heard stories when I lived in Louisiana. What are the furries like there?
The furries?
Yeah.
Assuming he even knows.
If you don't know, that's fine, but I've heard the stories.
Put it to you this way. That's a little too weird for my taste, so I touched that with a 10-foot spoon.
All right, then.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, when it starts getting into people dressing like critters and everything, wanting to touch each other, I'm like, nope, this ain't my cup of tea.
All right, nope, just asking. I've heard stories.
It's like, hey, look, you want to dress up like a cat and the other person wants to dress up like a raccoon, hey, more power to you, just, I'm going that way.
Yeah, I've heard that there's some really good supernatural things in Louisiana, too. Like, there was the Myrtle Mansion, I remember someone telling me about.
Oh, don't get me started on the supernatural when it comes to Louisiana. But now the Myrtle Plantation, from what I understand of it, is one guy who's a real good friend of mine. He actually used to be my boss. He does paranormal research on the side, or he's retired from it. I can't remember which. He told me the Myrtle Plantation was basically just a great big freaking fraud.
Oh, okay.
But I've only been there for like 20 minutes just to find out how much a tour would cost. When they told me the price of it, I said, fuck y'all.
Oh, Jesus.
What did he...
Do you remember what that was around? How much that bitch cost?
Yeah, it was like $50 for a 1-hour tour that I
Jesus
remember.
Fucking Christ.
They told me $50 for a 1-hour tour. I said, I better see a damn ghost bring me a cup of coffee and a newspaper, by God.
Yeah, no shit.
And then $150 to stay the night there? I was like, shit, I better wake up with some breakfast, goddammit. There better be a ghost right there saying, you need anything else, sir? Like, for that kind of money, I can go rent a damn Motel 6 a hell of a lot cheaper.
Oh, bro, I could tell you stories. I went to visit Anthony when he and I were dating, and I came back and I was on the bus and I got stuck, and I was in Mississippi on the way home, and they tried pawning me off to a freaking like motel for prostitutes, and then the Uber driver was like, "You're not staying here." What? No, I'm taking you to Motel 6. Well, why? Because this place is for prostitutes. I'm like, oh shit. Louisiana Greyhound.
They took in buttons like the story of what's that kid from fucking the Jungle Book and raised them like their own.
Wow, you called me a slut?
No, that was a joke. Jesus.
You're one of the pack now, but
that's the Disney movie that didn't come out.
Well, no, it came out. It's probably on one of those back alley shelves. You got to go through a little curtain to see, you know.
Well, you ever saw Shrek 2 where they read off Cinderella, Wonder Woman, Pretty Woman, whatever the fuck kind of bullshit.
When you got to go through that curtain, you got to wear a trench coat, big old fedora hat with sunshade glasses on and everything, you know.
Yeah, I'll take the special copy.
Yeah, listen, look, you ain't seen me, you don't know me, but I need to go through that curtain right there. Yeah, go ahead, bud. We'll keep an eye out for you.
Jesus.
Oh man, you're a gem.
Yeah.
But but going back to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was that thing that we put in the chat earlier. I was telling you about the inmates getting beat, and I was wondering if that's common, because people are saying it is, and you were someone who dealt with this stuff.
All right, as far as inmates beating on or officers beating on inmates, it is, but it isn't at the same time. It's kind of, I'm trying to think of how best to describe this to where it makes the most sense. Like, sometimes there is inmate on officer altercations. Sometimes, a lot of times it's completely justified, because a lot of people don't, unless you've actually worked in those bars, behind those bars, you don't know what's going on. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Like the one, because I can't tell you how many times I've had inmates threaten me and bow up to me and everything, and I'd had to put them in check. But
Yeah, because apparently what happened is in the video, the lady's like being restrained in a chair with like a blindfold on her eyes, and they're like beating the shit out of her. There's like a hospital heart monitor thing, like to do her blood pressure. Again, it was caught on camera, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. They didn't explain the context of why they were beating her, what she was even in there for.
Now,
Um,
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, you go.
Now, if they're already restrained and but yet they're still not offering the level of resistance to warrant further, because the way the force of, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, the level of, not level resistance, but what is it? God damn it.
Detainment?
Acceptable level of aggression?
No, there was another term for it we used. God damn. Oh, shit. It's right there on the tip of my
The
tongue. Come on.
level of restraint?
Oh, use of force. The use of force levels.
Escalation of force.
Yeah, the escalation of use of force. You can always use one step more than what's being done to you. For example, if you're sitting there giving me a dirty look, officer presence is the number one, is the lower tier. Just being there is enough to discourage a lot of inmates from doing stuff. The step above that is actually going verbal. Like, you're giving me a dirty look, and I say, what you looking at? For example. Now, if an inmate throws a swing on me, then I can take that step of returning throwing a swing at him, but I can also go one step above and use something like pepper spray, a baton, or a trash can to let them know, not good.
Okay.
But when it starts getting up now, once they start de-escalating their force and their resistance, then you still use one step above them, but you can't use excessive. For example, if I take a good story, an inmate fight that I had to break up years ago at LaSalle Correctional Center. These two boys were tied up on each other, looking like two cats balled up on each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
I called the Code 3 over the radio. Code 3, Bravo, Norm. Officers come in, we run in. I grabbed one dude, pulled him back, and he took a swing on me with a butt can, basically a paint can cut in half. So, if you've ever watched wrestling, you would know what the rock bottom is. That's what I gave him. The rock bottom. It's a wrestling move that The Rock used to do. He would pick them up and basically slam them.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I did. I picked that dude up, I rock bottomed his ass, and then I flipped him on his stomach, put him in an ankle lock, all the while giving verbal commands, stop resisting, palms to the sky, arms out, spread like an airplane. Do it now.
Damn.
And once he stopped resisting and he was not resisting anymore, I eased the grip on my ankle lock, but I kept him in it just in case he started to nut up again. Afterwards, another officer come over, handcuffed him. We picked him up, put him in the dungeon.
You guys had an actual dungeon?
Well, it's just a nickname for solitary confinement. Is the dungeon or the hole?
So, like, how long would people? I've heard stories. How long would people be in solitary confinement for? Were they allowed like bathroom breaks or food or anything?
Okay. Now this is where it gets a lot of contention. I see so many people talk about this on Facebook, and it irks me to no end. There are inmates who have been in isolation for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. The reason why they were in there, well, that a lot of people don't understand, unless you've worked in a prison, number one, to get out of the hole and go back in the general population, once you serve your 30 days or your 60 days of solitary, you can go back to general population. But if you break the rules while you're in ADSEG or administrative segregation, the dungeon, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get another 30 days or more. For example, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, like, would you just stay in a tiny room? Would you be allowed, like, a bathroom and food and water? Would you be allowed to, like, go out in the yard and do stuff, or?
If you're on administrative segregation, you are in the cell 23 hours a day. You are out 1 hour to come out of the cell for a shower and to walk the tier, depending on the facility you're at, but I'm using Angola as a perfect example because that's the one I remembered. You come out of the cell for 1 hour to walk up and down the tier, go take your shower. While you're showering, I'm shaking down your cell, searching it for contraband. Then after that hour's up, you go right back in your cell. And as far as food, well, of course you got to feed them. That's federal law. That's
That's true.
They get fed 3 times a day. Now, if they got money on their books, I think they can buy stuff like candy bars and stuff between meal times. But it's been some years, so I can't. And I didn't work a lot of the cell block. I mostly worked dormitories.
Yeah.
What's up, Peter? What's good?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, hey, Aeon.
Aeon of Dreams, we just got a guy who's a former, not correctionals, guy who used to work in the police. Hey, Leo, what's good? Yeah, this is...
Oh, you know.
Yeah, he goes by Bubba or Gator.
Yeah. Wait a minute, is that Aeon of Dreams?
That is Aeon of Dreams.
Dude, I loved you in what's the name? Curse of Strahd campaign, man. You were awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, no problem, dude. I used to die laughing listening to you, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I got involved in another one, but that'll be a different character. That'll be premiering in 13 probably.
Right on. Sorry, I just had to nerd out for just a second there. I had to do my own little version of fangirling.
Oh no, you're good. I don't usually hear fans of the Curse of Strahd one, so it's good to hear from that.
Yeah, Peter was just asking me if I was going to be doing something with KP later, and I was like, yeah, I broke to do this really quick because old boy in here came in here asking me about Lou the Kitty, and then we got distracted talking about the U.S. Supreme Court thing. So did you have any questions, Leo, since you just popped in?
Well, I was actually wondering why he contacted me to begin with to get a hold of you. I figured it'd be easy to get a hold of you without doing that. It's just odd, out of nowhere, on a page I barely do anything with. This guy's like, hey there, you got a FNGR's contact up there?
Okay, sure. I don't mind.
Because I couldn't find how to get a hold of you or nothing there, and I figured, well, you know what? I'll just throw out some messages, just basically throw some hooks out in the water, see if a fish bites or not.
Well, you caught one.
Yeah, I've done it the long way around.
So you were a correctionals officer or something, or?
I used to be a corrections officer a long time ago, unfortunately. I'll be glad when I can do it again.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you were having issues about that. We certainly need correctional officers.
Yeah, tell me about it. It sucked too. Whenever I had to turn in my uniform and quit and leave the property, believe you me, it took everything in me not to tear up.
Well, I am sorry to hear that.
Actually, I have a question. Did you know about any of the investigation processes? Because there was a guy who was kind of being investigated for supposedly doing stuff to a dog. His name's Kirill the Wolf, and I was wondering if you knew how to tell if someone's lying about that or not on social media. Because he's saying supposedly he was under investigation, but apparently nothing happened.
Yeah, that's more of a detective or something. Buttons I don't expect.
That's more of a basic police officer question. Correctional officer is a very specialized job.
Well, we do have to do investigation ourselves, but a lot of times we had Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, Sam. Okay, good. Yeah, his car was going real loud there.
Yeah, we would have to investigate ourselves in certain situations, but we also had investigators in Angola. I want to say they call them blue coats or red coats. I can't remember because that's what they wore. And they were the ones that actually did major investigations. But if, let's say I got two inmates fighting, okay, good example. One night I had two inmates fighting while I was making rounds in my dorm. They're sitting there. One dude got his jaw broken. It was all over a cassette tape. And, I had to call for backup. We broke the fight up, and we had to investigate, leave the scene pristine, so the major and the lieutenant colonel could come in and take a look and see what happened and why this happened. So we did have to, now, as far as somebody lying and everything, that kind of goes with, you'd have to read their body language, because the body language will tell you anything. That's something that, if you ever meet somebody who works as who's been a correctional officer for some time, they can read people like an open book, because you develop a sixth sense.
Yeah.
You can tell when something's going down in seconds flat, or sometimes even before it happens.
Yeah, a lot of people have different tells to how they act and how they operate, and you can tell when they're lying based on their body movements, how they speak, or what they're looking at. Real quick question, though. What made you decide to contact Anthony? I'm afraid I wasn't able to listen to the majority of the stream. I've been pretty busy today.
Oh, it's all good. Well, I just want to talk with him about the Lou situation, because here the other night I was talking to a guy I work with, and we got brought up about the whole, she was, what, 21, I think, something like that.
Yeah, she was 21, and the kid was 15.
Yeah, she was messing with a 15-year-old, and me and him was talking about that, and he was telling me that if the parents already knew what was going on, the parents of the kid knew what was going on and kind of approved it, the cops couldn't touch them. Now, I wasn't sure about that, because I think that only goes if the kid is actually emancipated, they're, y'all know what that is.
Yeah.
Then that would be legal. But if the parents are not okay with it, then, yeah, of course the cops will get involved. But I wasn't 100% sure on that.
Well, I would imagine in cases like that, I think the main state that would allow such a thing, God, I can't even remember the name of it, but there is one state to where if a girl gets pregnant and the person is a certain age, they can legally get married as long as they have parental consent from both parties. But I can't remember what state that's in. I think maybe Georgia?
I think it might have been Montana.
I thought it was Alabama.
Yeah, because I know of some guys
the
that's
South,
also
isn't
in the
it?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely in the South. No question.
I wouldn't doubt it. Because I know there's been a couple times I've knew of some people who got railroaded because she would be like 13 or 14, he would be 15 or 16, and they'd be sleeping with each other, and both parents knew what was going on. But as soon as he turned 18, the parents of the girl would say, "Nope, he raped her. He's got to go to prison." And I've seen that happen a lot of times.
That's a Romeo and Juliet law, right?
That's in Texas.
I believe they also have it here in Louisiana as well, but it's got to be within a 2-year stretch. Like, if she's 16 and he's 18, then it's somewhat okay, but it's not advisable. Kind of the age of consent is 17. But I was sitting there talking to a cop one day because a buddy of mine, he was a younger guy, and I'm sitting, "Oh, Sophia, get down." Sorry, I had to get on to my cat. Because old boy, he was in there messing with a girl that was 17, and he was fixing me 19. I'm saying, "Dude, look, you might not want to do this because, even though it's legal, it's not a good idea." And that's what brought me up to it, because I was sitting there thinking, like, if the parents of the kid knew and they approved on it, I wasn't sure if the cops could actually touch Lou or not.
I know in some cases, if the parent is aware and lets it happen, it could be seen as a child sexual exploitation.
But yeah, for the record, the reason why I put out the last videos because that's pretty much everything I had left. But this content was the audio was too low. I've had that happen before on me.
I'm still working. I'm still trying to save it to the best of my ability.
I mean, if you can grab the best sound bites of it, that's probably just save yourself a heap and hold of trouble. Just that's from what's his name.
I might just get bits and pieces of information and see what I can. That's the most important. His end is gonna be staticky, unfortunately, because his end just recorded so freaking badly. Like everyone else in the call was good, but his audio.
Yeah, there's another way of doing it. You can always sit there and read off what he does, and then just say we'll include the call in a Google Doc down below if you don't agree with my reading of what he said. And he can always show up and tell me. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways of working around this shit.
Yeah, I can get someone to.
Twitter's working again.
Yeah, Devi asked if fucking old girl is talking to fucking Dylan. That's hard to ask. I'm pretty sure Briggs stopped talking to Lou. He couldn't take her.
Migs. Yeah, he blocked her immediately. Yeah. When I told him I think it was the night we had the call with Nova, because that's how we got in contact with Nova. Is Lou was like, "Hey, he wants to contact you. Here's his Twitter he gave me." And then I'm like, "Migs, please block her. You're underage. Don't be talking to her." So nope, got it.
I forgot to block her. That's the problem.
I think Steph still has her.
No, Steph, no.
That's something else that had me scratching my head, too. When this old girl's still talking to the dude, even while she's being investigated by the cops, like, "No, you dumbass, don't do that." That's like you rob a bank a mile away from where you live, and you're flaunting the money. You're ratting yourself out. All you're doing is digging a hole so damn deep, you're going to start hearing Chinese music.
Wow. So who wants to hear about my little escapade on Twitter that got me a 12-hour ban?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to hear about this. It's only a 12-hour, not permanent.
Was it about that zoo file on Twitter?
Yes, it was. So here's the kicker. Okay, so the guy started screaming at me immediately after Anthony's stream. We have a back and forth. He pushes out the entire time. So I just go into just sheer mockery. He challenges me to a fist fight. And then when I tell him, "Sure, what time?" He then backpedals because, I don't even live in the United States, and I'd probably murder you. I'm so tough. So what ultimately happens is he tries to do a little hashtag called TikTok because, I'm old and my time is running out soon. RIP. And I decided to make fun of him back. I made a hashtag that was "Zoophile should be dragged into the street and shot." And one of his little zoo friends saw that and decided to put out a call to action to try to kill me.
Wintergreen Wolf, I believe, right?
Yes, Wintergreen Wolf put out that I don't deserve to be here and that people should exercise lethal force against me because of my hashtag.
I've seen Wintergreen Wolf not only in Medicre's tweets, but as well as Memology's videos. He's a pretty screwed up individual.
Isn't that like how we found out Memology was following us because we were keeping an eye on Winter?
This saves me a fucking video so I could talk to you now, Leo. I know you're having fun and shit right now, but it's a net loss if we get you thrown off of Twitter.
I'm aware. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that real quick. What my words weren't what triggered it. Not directly. Like if you use certain words like autistic, retarded, Twitter automatically flags those. But in this case, and this is important here, Twitter deemed my post wrong because it was considered targeted hate against a race, religion, or sexuality.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me. I didn't stutter.
I'm sorry.
So are you saying that
so I could dig the bullshit out of the way
Twitter?
Here?
So what you're telling me is that Twitter considers zoophiles a protected fucking group?
Apparently, because I didn't make any homophobic jokes.
Protected fucking sexual... My ass!
Well, I mean, go ahead and try to attack one of them. See what happens.
That was my post earlier.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Did they specifically give you which post that it was?
Yep, they gave me all 21 of them.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? Could you do me a favor? Do you have a copy of them?
Unfortunately, no, because I had to delete them. But somebody has a couple of them. But
okay.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I have to sit there and say I know Leo came a bit more on guard. I remember when Hateful was fucking jousting with Ethical Z, and my response back to Ethical was, well, technically, Hateful isn't breaking terms of service right now, or, being a smartass and a jackass is one of the few goddamn things you're allowed to still do on Twitter.
Apparently not, but here's the kicker, right? This person who is advocating that people come and kill me, I'm all for it. I'm all for them trying to come and kill me, because here's the thing. If somebody is dumb enough to show up on my property, especially if they're a zoophile, with intent to do harm to me or my animals, we're going to have one less zoophile on this planet, and that's all I'm going to leave it at. It's a net
hold
gain.
on. Don't kill them too quickly. You got to,
All right,
best thing to do is kill them, resuscitate them, then kill them again.
Hold it. Thoughts and opinions of the guests on the show. I'm trying not to get thrown off of YouTube as they're cracking down on shit like that. And I'm okay. Yeah. Again, keep in mind these people will sit there like Chuggle Buggle and sit there and listen through, and so they could find some reason to flag the video. So
yeah.
Yes. No.
Thoughts and opinions of the guests did not reflect the thoughts and opinions for no good reason.
Yes. Okay. I live in Texas. I don't need to do that. I can just wait. Wait.
I am well aware of the sovereign nation of Texas.
Someone actually had a question in the chat for you, Anthony. Hey, FNGR. Could you ask Bubba how the justice system works if the victim lies about being of legal age? There was a report in Michigan about something like that.
I mean, if he knows off the top of his head.
From what I understand, if they lie about their age, and it can be proven that they lied about their age, and if you can get a good lawyer, then you can get off. Because I actually know a guy that had something similar to that happen to him year back when I was a teenager. There's a little town called Gina. This old boy, he met this girl at a bar one night, and he took her out to the truck and they went mud riding. Y'all know what I mean.
All right then.
Yeah, she got all pissed off because all she was to him was a one night stand. Well, she went and told her parents that he raped her. And yeah, and I was sitting there barbecuing with him, and the cops came and was picking his ass up. But the only reason, now he got arrested, but the only reason he didn't go to jail or go to prison or nothing was because it was proven that she used a fake ID to get into the bar. And let's face it, you're a man in a bar, woman's hitting on you, you're gonna automatically think she's of age to get in the bar to begin with, especially when you got a bouncer at the door checking your IDs.
Yeah, I know that's.
And the only reason.
I know that doesn't get you off the hook in Illinois, but go ahead.
Yeah, but the reason he got off, like I say, he also could afford a damn good lawyer who was able to get that thrown out. If you got to go with the jailhouse lawyer or the court-appointed attorney, you might as well just bite the pillow because they're going in raw.
Oof.
Yeah. Spoken Mind had a question for you, Leo. If you still have the copy of the email Twitter sent you, you will have the tweets in that email.
I have it, and here I'm going to read off a couple of them here.
Okay.
Violating our rules against hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. And here is my quote: best debater in the world, and he doesn't know that proving a negative is a logical fallacy. Behold the mind of the deranged dog humper.
Yeah, that's something to this day I still don't understand. I could go walk out the door, walk about a mile in any direction, and I'll go run into some damn crack.
Let me give you all a tip here. If you don't have a Gab account, you can get one now. You can spew all the N-words you want on there, and nobody will throw you the hell off.
I don't use those, but more importantly, if that's what they're tagging this with, is Twitter saying not this because, sexual orientation, that's concerning.
Yeah, that is concerning.
I just think it's... Ugh.
So, speaking of which, I actually had somebody bother me or tap me on the shoulder, not bother me. MimiKage wanted to do a stream. We're actually doing a stream. I guess we could knock that out now.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's around.
I might not be able to stay for...
Yeah, no, if you got a dip, that's fine. Yeah.
But I'll wait for a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
why
Leo.
not?
Oh, they also said they're a Discord exclusive, so we might have to pop over there.
All right.
What's going on, man?
Woo.
Oh, I was going to tell you, if one of them zoophiles, they decide they do want to buck up and actually own up on their thing, just give a holler. I don't mind taking a trip to Texas.
Well, I appreciate the concern, and it would probably be nice to meet you. You sound like a great guy. I don't think you'd want to be around for what I would enact.
Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say, hey, if you ever watch wrestling, tag in, tag out.
I don't use firearms.
Okay.
I can't be in possession of them anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But let's just say I got plenty of other handheld play pretties.
So do I. I got a nice long sword.
I got Japanese sai.
I prefer bear spray.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop on to Discord and see what's going on there.
So we go into Limbo Discord?
Yeah.
Man, I sure hope so.
Is this guy on Discord? If anybody...
Hey, do you got Discord, Bubba?
Yes and no. I do have it, but I ain't got no idea how to use it. The only reason I even got on it was to talk to some friends of mine from back in the day, because one of them killed himself, and we was having a little wake for him.
If you don't use Discord or you don't know how to use it, I could walk you through it.
That'd probably be a good idea, because I ain't gonna lie to you. When it comes to technology, I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground.
All right, let me send you a contact request on Skype, and then let me my Discord. Do you remember your password? Are you logged into it?
Yeah, I'm still logged into it. Let me just see if I can get to it on my phone here while I'm in this Skype call.
Yep.
Let me give you my Discord, and I will walk you through this process, my good friend.
All right.
All right.
I'll pop into the fucking Limbo Skype. What this is doing? If I could get that over there.
Boop.
Bunk. Let's see.
I think I gave you the right numbers. Yep.
Okay. Reply.
Bunk. There we go. Copy.
Hello.
All right. I'm gonna kill the freaking goddamn the Skype one here. Freaking, I'll probably have to switch the screens. Let's see. Properties. Let's go to Discord. Bunk. There we are. Boop. That fruity picture I went and got for freaking creepy. He is such a sensitive soul, I had to butter him up.
He's just getting some trouble with his phone.
Spoken made a photo, I think, for you to use for KP.
I do have one from Noodle Stitch that's very beautiful. It's very...
I didn't know if you had seen it.
I hadn't seen it yet. I might use it. Let's see.
If people are interested, I'm accepting commissions right now.
Yep. Buttons can peruse the comments section after the stream is done. Probably be watching my best friend draw. Okay, that's fine, Migs.
Oh, Bubba, a commission is basically someone pays me and then I draw art for them. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. No, that's understandable. I didn't know what a commission was until I think like 2 years ago. So you're cool.
Oh, 10 said asked to send you a thing, so I will. You know what? I'll just send it to you on Skype since I don't want to screen share every damn thing. Where the fuck are you?
Oh, you. What happened, Bubba?
We can't get in.
Oh no, I get that. Putting the numbers in back. Yeah, Discord is pretty hard to get used to.
Yeah.
You're cool.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the facilities.
Sure.
Oh, okay. It's fine, man. I get it. Discord can be stupid. Bro, that's a mood. Oh, dude, it's okay. I understand completely. Technology sucks sometimes. Just let me know when you sent me the friend request, and I'll let you know if I got it or not. And then I'll put you in the Discord. The chat's loving you, by the way. Like, everyone thinks you're a hoot.
And we're back. Let's see.
Oh, I think I know. Did you do the capital C at the beginning of my name? Because it's very picky with your capitals and stuff. He's almost... Yeah.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Let me just invite Mimi. We can knock this out.
Ye
Up there they are. Bunk. Invite. Bunk. There we are. We're about to be joined by the greatest of all time, the GOAT.
Let me see if it's my Discord settings, because maybe I turned off the ability to friend me after some stuff. Yep, okay, there we go.
Yeah, we're gonna keep Gator, but he's figuring out Discord.
Okay, try send me a thing now to Gator. I mean Bubba.
Sure. Buh.
Don't worry, I won't call you late for supper. You cool, boss.
Get the invite. We're about to talk to Mimi about the incident. So,
got it.
Yep.
Yep.
It was supposed to
I got
Which
his
incident?
the whole arrest and family thing and the GoFundMe, that whole thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't think did I get a refund for that? I'll have to. Is your name this potato rules? Is that it?
Do you need me to pass you an invite?
Oh, wrong one. Disturbed.
Do you need me to...
Oh, okay.
Here you go, Buttons. You could throw that to him. I keep forgetting that the avatar is freaking KP melting into the ground.
Type your name for me, because I can't. I just added you as a friend, but I can't find you. Yeah, type to me on Discord. And then I'll send you the request to the Discord on, because If and GR just gave me the link.
Let's see. Bless you.
Thank you.
Well, I threw it to Buttons to add to Old Boy, so Bubba can pop in.
He's typing to me to try to. message me because I can't find him. I just had him added him as a friend and I can't find.
We'll have him send you a message. That's how I do
got
it.
him.
Yep.
Okay, that's how you spell your name. And Bunk, there is the Discord. Now you press the little join button, and then we are in the drama chat. I'll see you there.
I see your thing flickering, Leo. If you're talking, we're not hearing anything.
No, I'm just typing.
Okay, neat.
All right, I got him. Glad you're feeling a bit. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit better. I got a little sick earlier, but.
Avenger, I'm not sure who it is, but someone's asking if they can join as well.
Who?
It's in the Discord server. It's Feds Pull Me Over, not tonight.
Not right now. He's all right. I just don't want to get too crowded for the MimiKage thing.
And who is this that wants on?
I don't know their
Oh,
name.
he's just a random fan that I talked to the other day, and I just don't want to get too crowded.
Oh, is that Envy?
No, that's not Envy.
Oh, okay.
Why? Did Envy want in? I know he's been nagging. I would have lit Envy just because he's been bugging me so goddamn much for it.
No, I just thought it was Envy when you gave that description.
No. I do feel bad about friggin'... Oh, there's Kage. Kage's in the call. Alright, take it away, Mimi. If you got audio.
Yeah, you're on mute right now, MimiKage. Are you on push to talk?
Yeah, might be. You're the one who wanted to do it on Discord.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, Kage, the Rift mods seemed like they were willing to put the distance between whatever happened offline and online.
Can somebody give me a little bit of background on what's going on here?
Well, MimiKage wanted to talk about their situation, and we never quite got around to doing it, and we've got a stream here, so for people who need to know, and Kage can jump in at any time, MimiKage is the person who winded up having a GoFundMe because they were trying to pay off... Would you like to just take it from there, Kage, so I don't misrepresent facts?
Hold up. Can you guys hear me? I'm having a bit of...
Yes,
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I do need to clear up some things because apparently, due to the fact that I mostly was pretty quiet to start with, other than apologizing to everybody because I had to. Well, I wanted to, but because that was the first thing that needed to get out of the way. There's a lot of misinformation. Keep in mind that everything I say here I can prove with court documents.
Okay.
I just need to take pictures of them and then send them to anybody who wants them. But I do have that, so just to clear that up now. As for the GoFundMe was for originally $10,000, which was not organized by me. I did not decide the amounts on that. I can tell you that for sure. It was more so decided based on a bunch of factors. But yes, everything else you guys think of is true. It was originally meant... one, so I can leave my house, but partially so I could also pay off what I owe to society, which I am currently doing.
How much are you in the hole?
Right now, not nearly as bad as before because I've been working and paying it off. I have about $15,000 left to pay off.
Ooh.
Do you guys know the original amount? Because I can tell you that now. A lot of numbers have been thrown around, but
Yeah, by all means, let's hear it.
It was 26,000 between me and I think one other person who... another fact, I did not know there were other people involved until after everything went down, and then I found out one other person was involved. Between us two, we took quite a bit. But because of the circumstances, and because, I kind of admitted to everything right off the bat, because there's no point in hiding it after that, we were both charged with paying the full amount.
Oh. Yeah, I'd heard that you had rolled on your accomplice.
I actually didn't know there was anybody else. The story of events was that I was caught, and we were caught separately. And when they were questioning me, they asked me if I knew who so and so was, and I told them yes, and that if I knew if they were taking stuff too, and I said no because I didn't. I didn't find out that there was somebody else until afterwards. So it's a bit of confusion going on there because Honestly, not even my brother knew all the facts, because I'm pretty sure he's the one who told you guys most of the information, if I'm incorrect there.
I never actually got specifically to speak to your
That
brother. Leo
that was
might
in
have.
Barrel, and yes.
Yes.
Hold up, someone's knocking. Just give me 1 sec. What's wrong, sweetie?
You should
Come in
mute.
and grab it, sweetie. Sorry, my little sister.
Yeah, you
Grab it
probably
and
should
go.
probably mute so you don't include your sister in the stream.
Don't worry. She's fine. She's leaving. She's gone.
Okay.
My brother, that's where most of the information that I know of came from. I don't know what was going on, because I kind of didn't pay attention to every single thing that was going on, because I already knew information was being messed up. And
Well, I had a question.
I knew what was going on. I had to get everything straight through the documents that I got through court first, because I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know how much I took to begin with.
I'd heard that you were accused of, or you accused your family of abuse. Which members did you accuse of abusing you, and what were the exact accusations?
Well, originally I had accused primarily my brother and my mother. Now, I can't say for sure whether or not everything I said in there is about my mother. It was not true. It was more so just me trying to project on someone, and it wasn't fair to her. We were working that out through family court. As for my brother, that's a whole other situation, and that's still to be determined through therapy. But let's just say other issues have come up recently that aren't really promising towards him, but we're working it out. That's the long and short of it. But yes, back then I did accuse both my brother and my mother, and I'll say to here now that my mother had nothing to do with it, and to this day I regret ever saying anything bad, considering that the most she ever did was be not there because she worked so much.
Crap, working now?
Yes.
My mom.
Thank Christ.
Excuse me?
No, this is we have a new friend of ours that seems to be from Louisiana, and the audience seems rather partial to him because they love his accent.
Oh, appreciate it, y'all.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I have not watched your content in a long ass time.
That's fine, Kage. That's perfectly all right.
So, hi, person. I don't know you, but
Howdy,
hi.
ma'am.
Yes. Was there anything that you wanted to say in regards to Solar?
Solar. So we have been talking on and off. I will admit we've been he's been trying to talk to me and I've been talking to him, but in all reality, I'm not in the correct emotional state of mind to handle him right now, because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I do have anxiety issues, which are now medicated and are being handled, unlike before.
I remember. Again, if I've mentioned you in passing, I wasn't really trying to gang up on you on anything like that.
No, you're fine. I know you weren't trying to. For some reason, you guys are nice to me, which to this day I don't understand, considering what a raging bitch I am.
Well, again, as I've said in the previous videos, I had a predisposition for you when originally during the whole Toon thing, they're like, oh, you have to be careful around MimiKage, and I'm like, no, I like Kage more than Toon.
I remember that. That was not a fun time.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. They're like, you're making a mistake. I'm like, okay, it won't be the last one.
I mean, they weren't exactly wrong, considering everything that came to light, but hey, at least I went to jail and paid for it.
You know what? If you were in driving distance and you went to jail, I'd probably swing by and say hi. As for Toon, it'd be a lot meaner. I'd probably still swing by, but I'd be throwing pennies at him through the bars.
Oh, come on, dude. There's I know at least 6 or 7 people who want to castrate him, so there's that.
Oh, yeah. No, it sounds like a fun time.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to do something special for Toon when he's in jail or something, just put him some money on his books or something, let him go buy some honey buns and tell everybody he's got honey buns.
Oh, lol.
Believe me, they'll beat 9 kinds of hell out of him for them.
Jesus.
I can tell you stories about jail. It was a very interesting experience, but
I've heard like booking takes like 12 hours. What is it? Like how long is it? Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
For you guys who don't know, and I'm just going to say it because fucking half the fandom knows already, I live in Las Vegas, and this is a tourist-heavy city. So, when I got booked where all the tourists are, which means I got left in the booking area in a holding cell for up to 3 days.
Whew. Yeah, I'd heard Chicago was 12. Damn, 3 days.
And they don't give.
I can believe it.
What they do is that they take away your shoes and socks. They give you these little like horrible orange Crocs looking sandals, fucking terrible. And they lock you in a room with like 48 other chicks, and they just leave you there in the fucking cold, with a TV that's like very high off the ground, and there's no way to tell the time. So that was fun.
How often do you get bathroom breaks?
There's a bathroom right in there, but it's in the corner and exposed to everyone. And there's rarely any toilet paper because it was so cold that people would wet the toilet paper and then try to clog up the air ventilation.
Oh, damn.
Well, moral of the story is kids don't get arrested.
Yeah, it's not fun. I had to go through it twice for the same fucking reason.
How long were you in jail for when you finally got booked in?
The first time, now here's a bit I need to clear up. I was in there twice, again for the same reason. The first time was in January. Funny enough, the day I got out of jail for the first time was when all the Toon shit came to light, at least to my understanding, in the group. But I was in there for 2 weeks to start, and then another 2 weeks afterwards, after everything was sorted out. It was a bit of a confusing mess. Any questions you guys have, I'm willing to answer anything and everything, just so you know.
This isn't a question, but I do want to say, I know I was a bitch to you, and I want to say I'm sorry.
No, we cool. Don't worry about it. Considering everything that's happened between now and then, it's in the past. It doesn't matter no more.
Okay, cool. I know I've owed a lot of people apologies, and I know that you weren't one I apologized to yet. I guess I didn't know when to say I was sorry to everyone, and I wanted to give everyone time to be able to feel comfortable talking to me before I forced myself in their face, like, hey, I'm sorry, so...
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. If anything, I owe a lot of people apologies. Well, specifically all of you for all of this.
Well, hold it. Since I probably don't have the heart to be a dick to you, so Leo, would you like to jump in?
Okay.
Lay it on me. I'm ready for all of it.
What you did at every avenue was vile, reprehensible, abusive, sadistic, egotistical, and shameful.
I am aware, and I will not offer any excuse to what I did. I am working very hard to try and atone for what I did.
How are you going to atone to a community you lied to?
Well, first I have to atone legally. That's what I'm doing now. But in time, what I hope to do is once everything is done on the legal front, I will try my best, if I am still part of this community, because I am debating leaving the community for the time being. But if I do remain, I will try my best to promote anything and everything that involves someone needing help, because obviously I really fucked that up with my actions, and that's something I do regret quite a bit. Out of everything I've done, the fact that I've affected people who actually do need help, it kills me inside. You don't know how many times I've seen people needing help, and then I'm back in my mind, I'm like, fuck, they might not make it because you fucked up.
Are you in counseling?
Yes, I am. And right now, I haven't gone recently, but because the therapist told me that I am doing better at managing. I go once a month, though. Before it was once a week, but now it's once a month.
And what are you doing as far as offline relationships? Are you finding actual friends that are not on the other side of a computer?
In fact, yes, I have. Right now, I have a small group of friends that I hang out with regularly. It's been a very healthy experience. I am a bit of a loner, but I've been doing better on that front as well.
I'm going to keep my eye on you. And if I see you slipping up, I'm going to come down on you like the sword of Damocles.
Well, feel free to, because if I do fuck up again after this, then clearly I am just a fucking idiot and I deserve everything that comes to me.
Okay, we'll see.
MimiKage, may if I throw a piece of advice your direction, if I may?
Go right ahead. I will take any advice you guys can offer.
If there's one thing I've learned in my lifetime, it's if you ever heard the jar of snakes principle?
No, I have not. I am a very sheltered person.
That's okay. The jar of snakes principle is if you see a big old jar on a table full of snakes, you don't know if they're poisonous, you don't know if they ain't. Don't stick your hand in it. So basically that boils down to, if you see a situation that you know might be bad, your best bet is to either A, don't do it, or B, get somebody who does know what's going on and talk to them first. It's a good little principle I've learned to live by, and believe me, it's kept me out of a lot of trouble over the years.
I also have other questions here.
Go ahead and ask as many as you'd like. That's what I'm here for.
How old are you again?
I am 22 years old, going on 23.
And you have a job?
Yes, I do. I work full-time.
And when are you moving out?
Right now, I am incapable of moving out due to the legal fees. However, once they are paid out, I will be moving out. It depends, probably in 1 to 2 years from now.
And that's how long it's going to take them to pay off, huh?
The restitution for the legal fees, again, will be 1 to 2 years. And if I continue well, then... Oh, I should probably mention, I am on probation. I didn't get off scot-free, obviously.
That's for 3 years, right?
Yes, and it'll be up, I think, late next year, if I have all my documents right.
How often do you have to check in with probation? I've never really known anything about it.
Due to the fact that I don't have any record before this, and of any kind, and I don't drink alcohol or take drugs. They have it that I have to check in once every 3 months. They don't check me unless they suspect that I'm doing something really fucked.
What are you prohibited from doing while under probation?
I am not allowed to drink or take any drugs that are not given to me or prescribed to me by a doctor, and I am not allowed to leave the state/country without permission. Now, the country part is because I do have citizenship in Mexico, so I can go there, but I need to inform my probation officer, before I go.
That tracks. How is your family handling the fact? Do they know that you lied about them to a large group of people online?
They are very much aware. My sister and me are rebuilding our relationship, mainly because due to recent events, I have become her emotional support. However, it's been a bit of a mixed bag with my brother because, again, some of the stuff I said about him, most of what I said about him is not untrue. But we are going to counseling for that to fix that relationship. And as for my mom, well, it's hard to read her, but we have been talking more, and then I've been trying my best to help her out in any way possible. As for my youngest sister, who is only 10, she only knows vague details about the whole situation.
I do have a question, actually. This was said by your brother. I remember hearing in the call. Apparently, you and Solar were on the couch doing intimate things in front of your younger sister. Is that a fabrication?
Not to my recollection. As far as I know, and Solar can correct me on this, because my memory of the time is hazy due to the massive amount of stress I was out under during that time, trying to find a place to stay.
We'll ask Solar.
It was a complicated situation at the time. But the only time we did anything was up in my room. And if my sister did see any of it, then it was not intentional. Blech. But
okay, just your brother said that it was on the couch in the living room in front of your sister, and that had me very concerned.
I think the most we did in the living room was make out. We didn't do anything too big, though, because
to be fair, Buttons is the way I would put this. Is it basically, her brother had just been accused of things, and it's kind of a brother's job to already hate whoever the hell your sister's dating any damn ways. So I take that with a grain of salt. I'll be glad.
My brother's a complicated situation. Again, I don't want to get too deep into that because he does have anger issues that are being worked out. But he's a bit of a weird case. I don't know what goes through his mind half the time, so I can't confirm nor deny.
No, I empathize.
I can confirm and deny my actions, but I can't deny or confirm anything he does.
No, I empathize with that. I get that. I will say, I'm not sure. I can't invalidate. I don't think your brother was abusive by the way he talked about things with.
It's a bit difficult. I do understand how you would see that he's not a bad guy, because to be honest, if you're not in the direct family, he tends not to act the same way with us that he does with other people. This can be confirmed by my mother and my sister, because a good example is that he's very nice to people his friends or outside of our immediate family circle. But then say there'll be an issue where somebody fucks up and then he'll just berate them in every way possible. It's a bit of a mixed bag. He's not a bad person, but you gotta understand that he does have his anger issues, and they come and go.
No, I understand. I was gonna say what was said in the GoFundMe was a lie. I did, even after having issues with you, I donated because I empathize with abuse, and that to feel like I was lied to, it did kind of hurt a lot. It felt kind of like a slap in the face to people who are abused, because I had to GoFundMe a little bit before yours, I think a year or two, to get out of my abusive situation. So I empathized with it. And when I found out that this was all because of like legal charges and shit, that hit pretty deep. And I'm glad that
if I could pop in on that, Kage, you were accusing your brother of abuse. What kind? Was that physical?
Mostly mental.
Okay.
Because he has pushed me and tried to hurt me before, but nothing that ever left any marks. Mostly a reaction to anger. Like, say I stepped on his foot, and then I would try to apologize, but he was so much in pain he didn't want me anywhere near him, so he would shove me away. Stuff like that, but most of it was verbal. Again, I have to be careful with my brother because we're kind of in a tight rope situation where we're not sure whether or not we can classify what his behavior as abuse. Again, that's what therapy has been for. It's still to be determined, so I'd rather not discuss that now if possible, because it's a bit of a gray area with that currently.
Okay, I'll
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when it comes to mental abuse, or just verbal abuse, somebody cussing you out or just talking down to you, a lot of people, believe it or not, them scars may never heal.
Yeah.
It's kind of that, but there's also the fact that there are a few things he has said and threatened. It's not exactly just a small situation. I'm trying to think of one of his. For example, a few years ago, one of his favorite lines is that, "Oh, he would love to make me bleed," stuff like that. It's a bit of a gray area again because he has his own anger issues, and I don't want to blame him for everything because we all went through some shit in this family. It's clear we all need some mental help in this family, which is why I'm trying to be.
To be fair, Kage, and maybe he was just a bit more patient. I remember when he popped in to go talk to Top of the Barrel. Not the easiest people to get along in the world. He seemed calm enough.
It is, like I said, it's difficult to explain it without. I would have to get other family members here to discuss it because, again, outside family members, his disposition is very different. And I think it's because he's comfortable with us, because he knows that.
No, I've tried explaining this to Buttons. Nobody else knows how to hurt like family. I'm well aware.
You got that right, partner.
Trust me. That's a lesson I've had to learn through my own actions. It's been a very trying time for all of us.
But if I may add something there, MimiKage, right?
Yes, you can just call me Mim. It's much easier.
All right, cool. I wasn't. I was sitting there trying to remember the name. There's my phone went dark on me because it's been sitting there. Anywho, something I learned a long time ago, and it took a while of beating in my head. When it comes to somebody sitting there like abusing you, like mentally or verbally or whatever, don't let it get you down for one simple reason. You know how they make swords? They take a raw piece of iron, beat the ever-loving hell out of it, stuff it in a furnace, heat that sumbitch up, beat it some more. But it comes out being pretty nice in the end. So you got to go through a hell of a lot of abuse in order to come out to be something good sometimes.
I understand that. It's like I said, it's a bit of a weird area with that because at this point I don't even know. I've been told several different things, and in my mind I'm like, I just give up.
Well, the reason I brought that towards your attention there is, or just say that to you, is kind of keep that in your mind, because every time you go through hell, keep on pushing, because in the end you'll end up finding heaven in the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a long walk, sometimes it's a short walk. You just don't stop walking.
Something I can give when I've talked to my own therapist is that I would be very down about my place in life and compared to other people. And one thing they've said is, you may be behind other people and you may be going through what you go through, but other people haven't gone what you've gone through, and that's already put you miles ahead of them in one way. So you're stronger than most people, and you don't realize it. And that's something that's stuck with me. And every time I get really down, and I mean really, really down, that's something that sticks out in my mind. I try to remember.
Yes. Oh, keep in mind that everything I say here by no means is an excuse. I've accepted what I've done. I know what I've done is a heinous, horrible thing, and I am paying for it without fighting it, and I am doing the best I can. However, people are curious as to where my mentality was during the time, and I am willing to explain that. But I just want to make it clear that these are not excuses. I will not excuse my actions ever. I will hold shame in what I did forever because it is something terrible I did. I do want to go past it.
I have to get this cheap shot in on someone else's. The reason why you weren't concerned about Dr. Wolf paying you is because you were making money hand over fist on the glasses.
What?
Well, they were called Dockies, right? Or Doc Martens, or what are the sunglasses called? I forget. Oakleys.
Oh, Oakleys, yes. No, I didn't actually start. During the time with Dr. Wolf, I wasn't
because I remember for like the longest time I was like MimiKage would like go for like a long time without having their commissions open, and then like afterwards like, oh, that's why they didn't need the money.
Yes and no. The money situation is kind of weird because I did steal a lot of glasses. The amount, it shocks me to how much I actually took, but I sold quite a bit of them. But the most I ever made was about 7,000, and most of that went to paying things I needed to pay off myself, and then the rest of the glasses I just gave away.
So wait. You mean you were able to pull down 7,000 in like one transaction or something like that, or what?
No, that was over the terms of like 6, 7 months.
Oh, okay.
So that was like 1,000 a month, probably.
Yes.
How many pairs of glasses would amount to that? How much does a pair of glasses cost from Oakley's?
It depends on which ones you get, because there are ones that are dirt cheap. They're only like $20-something. But then there are the carbon fiber ones that go to like $600 a pop.
So like I was trying to think of the math of how many glasses you stole per month.
Did you get careless as you kept getting away with it?
Excuse me?
Did you get like more carefree about it? Like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing this, or because you always hear about people who just get like sloppy after you take for granted. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Let's see. How do I explain that? So, at first, it's hard to explain because... Alright, so to put it simply, at first I was very careful because I was not exactly okay with doing what I was doing, because I knew what I was doing was wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you guys and say that, oh, I was doing it because of this stupid mental issue. Like, no, I knew what I was doing was bad. But after some time, the guilt just melted away and it became mundane. It's sad that that's how I'd have to describe it, but in the most basic way possible, that's what it was. And when it became mundane, I became sloppy, and then they caught me through a security camera inside the actual little room where the sunglasses are.
Jeez.
Sorry, dude.
It's the reason why that I started to begin with. It seems stupid on paper, but once I explain it makes sense. I did it at first because I didn't want to have to ask for help from anybody else. In my own mind, for some reason, at the time, it made more sense to steal glasses than just to fucking ask for help from one of my family members. I don't know why. It's a bit of a complicated bag that I'm still working out, but that was my mentality then, and it got me into a hell of fucking trouble. So at this point, asking for help would have just saved me so much more grief.
May I ask what exactly you're trying to pay off, if that's alright?
Partially college, because I was doing pretty bad at college at the time. Due to me just not focusing, because my brain something was wrong with my brain. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me, but I wasn't doing too well.
Yeah, Kage, I'm the last person that's ever going to give anyone a hard time for fucking, bottoming out on college. As for the legality of the theft, I wasn't nearly as worried. The major concern, at least for me, was a combination of the GoFundMe and as well as the accusations versus your family. Again, that's probably
all right.
Yeah.
So for that, the GoFundMe was something that I accepted because my intention was to move away. Because at the time, my family we were going through a very tough time. my mom had recently broken her leg, and she wasn't really working, and we were having financial issues around the house. The stress of that, due to the problems that I still had, that I still was unwilling to talk about, I tried to find a way out, and I decided that would be the best way to get out of what I was going through. Was it smart? No. Was it okay? No. Would I do it again? Definitely not. But hindsight's a bitch. I swear I can talk.
Yep. Oh, believe me, I know exactly what you're saying, because the easy path looks easy at first, but in the end, you end up being one hell of a pothole.
Basically, that's more or less. Now, I will admit, the fact that I would be so willing to lie, nowadays, it seems like I question myself, why the hell did I do this? Why the hell did I do that? Honestly, I don't have a straight explanation, because even I don't understand why. All I know is that I did it, and I have to pay for what I did. That's all I know.
I would be one to talk. I can't bash you for having to own up to mistakes. We all know.
No. Look, Kage. If anybody were to try and rip off the fan base for $10,000 for anything other than its explicit reason for being raised, I can't think of who I'm thinking of, I'd probably be really upset. I don't know why I randomly brought that up there. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I can't...
Mute Envy.
The silence is deafening.
What's up, Envy? Yeah, you got a lot of backlash there, Envy.
Let me mute that, my bad.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I can't... I'm one to talk. I can't say, you know, how dare you, you're at... No, I know what it's like to have to face what you've done. I fucked up. I know I did, recently, and I empathize with you, and you're taking the steps to get, to do legally what you're supposed to pay off, the debt. I, hope you and your family can mend things. I hope therapy goes well for you, and I hope that this is a new chapter in your life and a learning experience that you can go from, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, ma'am, one thing I've learned in my time, a person that screws up royally but admits they screwed up, owns that they screwed up, and they do their best to fix their screw up and not screw up a second time, that's a person that deserves respect. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
That's a person, okay, look, they screwed up, but at least they didn't lie about it, try to cover it up and all that stuff, but they're owning it and saying, hey, I foobarred it. I'm eating this pie. That's the person that deserves respect, that they're actually owning it.
And I know...
Sorry, go ahead.
And I know how hard it is to own up to what you did, and it takes a lot of guts, and I'm proud of you for coming on here and explaining yourself like you are.
Yeah, eating crow is one of the tastiest things you can eat.
In truth, once everything was said and done, I never really saw the point in trying to hide from the mistakes you made, because all it does is cause more problems. As we see, me lying about what I had done with the theft led to more issues later on. So at that point, I realized, why am I doing this? What's the point of fucking lying? It's just gonna cause more problems. Just own it and go with it. At least then you can at least try and fix it.
Not only that, but it's also too much damn hard work to lie, because when you gotta come up with a good lie, then you gotta come up with a lie for the lie, then another lie for the lie for the lie.
You have to keep track of it all too, yeah.
And that's why it's just too much dang hard work, so just be lazy and be honest. Like, you know what, look, I did
it. Okay.
My man, where are you from?
Louisiana.
Oh man, you're my neighbor. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I wonder you sound.
Oh shit. Howdy, neighbor.
Howdy.
Dallas, Texas, huh? And who's this?
That's Envy.
Envy.
And who is Envy?
I think he's one of Webcake's fans.
The one that, yeah. No,
I'm just out of Boston.
For work, yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, hey, Peter. I didn't know you were in here. Hi.
Peter is always here, listening, waiting.
Everywhere.
Just lurking in the shadows.
Yeah.
With that baritone.
I just popped in for a minute, watched that about the shit that AP, pretty sure that was already discussed.
Don't you know, Mimi? Peter likes to keep his eye on all the lesser demons in the fandom.
Well, we'll see.
I hoping he would have done the laugh.
We'll see. I'm actually thinking of migrating to a different fandom, at least for the time being.
Why don't you worry less about fandoms and more about just your life? Focus on that and just
again,
whatever.
Yeah, Kage, the only person who really sat there and was bitching about that was Hateful Eight. So I'd probably be inclined.
That's not exactly what I mean. It's something I've been debating for a while because I'm gonna be honest. My life is kind of tied to online because I do drawings, commissions, and all that. Art and fandom are kind of a part of me. I don't obsess over it, obviously, because I do have a real life. I exist outside the realm of the nightmare called the internet. But I can't deny that a lot of what I do is tied to here. So I have to be smart about what I do.
Yeah, I agree with when Leo says that you guys need to be online less. It's easier said than done. It really is.
That's what I've been doing,
Amen,
honestly.
brother.
But I do still want to make some money, dude, with my art. So it's like, what do I do? Right now in MLP, I'm not doing so hot, and the fandom's starting to die. So what do I do? Well, learn new skills. That's what I'm doing.
Alright, I'm gonna head off.
Alright.
It was nice talk.
See ya,
nice talking,
Andy.
nice list.
Yeah, but good, partner.
I'm not sure who was talking or who was confessing.
No, you're good, Envy. Who the hell is Disturbed Wolf, by the way?
That's
that's
Bubba.
me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Some guy just sitting there quietly in the call.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
just wanna say
Bubba.
who-
Because I remember pinching two of Cothrix fans from back in the day. I'm like, I wonder if it's one of them.
Yeah. No, that was me there. I just chose Disturbed Wolf because it's like really weird as hell.
Okay. It did make me think furry this whole damn time.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't realize that till now.
Well, I got a question. Do you want to get together with other people and dress like critters?
What?
I handle that subject with a 10-foot spoon. Like, look, if you want to dress up like a raccoon and start rubbing on a chihuahua or something, that's on you.
my
Me, I'm going that way.
What?
I'm like, you want to dress up like a chicken and go rub on somebody and dress up like a horse? Hey, do whatever you want to do. Just leave me away from that.
My dude, I won't do it, but I'll draw it.
Okay.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You probably shouldn't have said that there, partner.
Somebody will buy it.
That'll be. That's one drawing I don't want to look at. Cause
So yeah, all issues with MimiKage, they've always been able to get the artwork done. It's always been quality. Yeah, I remember wind up getting one for Secret Grimmer and what's his damn name, Vector Brony, and they were both happy with it.
Need to actually catch up on that. I've fallen behind because now I have work and it's like time management.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
Vector was very happy about that. Was very forthcoming in telling me that, as opposed to when he left the roof like a bitch without fucking talking to me to my face, cunt. But anyways.
Oh yeah, no, I remember the art you did for me when back last year. I still love that art. Like, oh, my God,
That's who drew the one, right? I was talking to you, Buttons, where it looks like the balloon is like wrapping around her neck a little bit. That's the one, I think.
The balloon. There is no balloon in that. What are you smoking?
I guess it wasn't that one then. Yeah, there was a picture.
Here,
Yeah.
let me get the art.
There's a
for me.
picture where it looks like you're almost getting choked by a balloon or some weird
See,
shit.
you have to find that for me because you keep mentioning it and I don't know what you're talking about.
And I'm like, the picture's good, but it also looks kind of creepy.
Please find me the
Choked
picture and
by
send
a
it
balloon.
later.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like it looks like where if it tightened in, it would do that. And I was like, this looks like a choking hazard.
Please
Yeah, I'm about
just
to say that's one hell of a kinky habit.
Okay, well,
this is the art.
Sorry, I had to
that
throw
was-
that in there.
lol. All right, let's see.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle. I got stuff to do. You guys take it easy.
Oh yeah, that's solid.
Hey, take it easy, partner.
Later.
Later.
Did you ever
Later.
see that?
All right, everybody. I think we've done a really good job here. If you didn't get your fill, I don't know what the hell to tell you. But we're gonna hit stop now. Godspeed.